Okay, to set up your EC2 instance from the AWS Management Console, you go to EC2, and that'll take you to the EC2 dashboard. Click on Launch Instances button, and then we pick the image. And here is where you select the machine type. I'm going to use the T2.micro, which is a free tier eligible. Then click on Next, Configure Instance Details. Here you have to select the VPC, and I'm using the demo VPC. After that, you have to select the subnet where you're going to launch this EC2 instance. Since this will serve as a public web server, I'll put it in one of my public subnets. And notice that I need to assign the public IP because this will be a web server. People need to get this to this website from the internet. So you have to have a public IP for that, and you have to enable it here. Now, there is another feature that is not here. It's in the subnet option. So whenever you pick any of your public subnets, it automatically have this option here enabled. So I'm gonna show you that feature right now. For that, you go back to the VPC dashboard, go to subnets, and I'm going to list all my subnets. So I'm gonna do this only for my public subnets. So I'm going to do that for the demo public subnet 2, and you go to actions here, click on edit subnet settings, and there is an option here that says enable auto assign public IPv4 address. Click on that, and that'll enable that feature. Just save it. I'll do the same for the other subnets or for the other public subnets. I don't have to do that for the private one because I'm not launching any web server in there. I'm going to launch a database there later. But again, click on enable auto assign public IPv4 address and save that. Now, when you go back to the EC2 and you're ready to launch your EC2 into those subnets, you don't have to worry about that, setting that public IP address. So select this type. I'm going to select T2.micro, which is the free tier eligible. Click on next. Here I select my demo VPC, the one I'm using, and notice that the auto assign public IP is disabled. But as soon as I pick either of any of these public IP public subnets, this option is enabled. Same with the public demo public subnet 2 is enabled, but notice for the private one is disabled. But since this is a web server, I'm going to launch this in the public subnet 1. Another cool feature here is, I'll keep this, by the way, as default. A pretty cool feature is this one. In the user data, you can either upload a file or you can just paste any script that you have. For instance, a bash script that can install Apache as soon as you deploy this EC2 instance, and that's what I'm about to do right now. I'm going to copy my bash script that I have here, and I'm going to explain that. Also, I'm going to paste this in the description of this video so you can use it as well. This bash script, basically what it's doing is updating bash as soon as the EC2 instance is launched. It installs the Apache server, it starts the server, and then goes to this directory, which is the HTML directory, and creates this file, which is index.html, with this header that says web server 1 app, and I'm going to add app and running. All right, so this is just a simple script. All right, after that, you keep this here, click on next, add storage, and this is where you add more storage. If you need, you can add new volumes. So just click on next, add tags, then keep going. I'm not adding any tag here, just configure security group. And this is the option that I was talking about in the video where I create the new security group. You can either create a new security group here while you're launching your EC2 instance, or you can select an existing security group, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use the security group that I created in the previous video. And this security group has these ports open. port 80 for HTTP, and it has the port 22 for SSH and the 443 for HTTPS. Now click on next and launch. And this is to review everything that you have set up. Then click on launch if you're ready. And you're gonna need a private key so you can SSH into this machine. You can either choose an existing key pair or you can create a new one. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to create the key pair. I'm going to call this demo now. Demo now. I'm calling like that. Just and then click on download the key pair and launch instances. Now I go back here. I'm going to name this okay, this EC2 instance is already in the running state. And notice that we have the public IPv4 address here. Just copy that. And if I go to the browser and paste that in there, I'm able to see my website already running. Web server 1 up and running. And that's how you launch your EC2 instance.